Hey everybody, welcome to Fit Tip Tuesday. I apologize for missing last Tuesday's Fit Tip. It was Labor Day weekend. I hope everybody had a wonderful time. We had family over, so I was a little busy and I couldn't get to it, so I apologize. Today I have a good one for you though. And originally I thought it was sort of a me problem. And what I mean by that is while I was fitting my pants, and I'll just show you, here's a picture of me in my fit muslin. And what I want you to notice is at the hem, it looks like my inseam is swinging in like sailor pants. And if I had a flare style leg, that would be okay. But I was working on my Sorsha Classic Slim trousers and I knew it was a straight pant leg. So it was bugging me that I had this little sway to my inseam, and I checked everything else. It wasn't a grain problem. It wasn't twisting because I had too much vertical length in the back or the front. I did all the things, or I looked at all the different things that I thought it could have been, and then I consulted with my friend Eric, and he talked me through what was going on with my pattern, and then we realized it was because I was creating a hinge along the inseam. And this can happen when you're extending your crotch extensions and you extend the back crotch extension significantly more than the front. And what it ends up happening is the wedge of fabric that you're creating actually acts like a hinge and it swings the bottom of your inseam out. Now, the cool thing about this is if everything else is fitting properly, this happened to a student over the weekend. She explained to me that her whole waist to full hip to crotch to knee, beautiful. It was comfortable, it fit lovely, but she was getting this swinging of the inseam towards the hem. And I said to her, I'm like, let's take a look at your back leg pattern piece, and I described what happened to me and she thought that was happening to her as well. Now I asked her to report back and let me know if that actually is her problem. She couldn't put her muslin on because she had already taken it apart, so I couldn't look at it on her body, but I think this is something that can happen and I want to show you how to fix it. So first what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you here. I have a front and back leg, and I think the first thing I'm going to do is just cut off some of the extra paper here so I don't have so much extra going on. And I think also because I'm working with the Sorsha pattern, I'm just going to cut off the front fly piece just so it's not sticking out there. I just want to make it like a nice clean example of a front and back leg for fitting. When we do our fitting, I don't use the fly pieces in the front because they flop around and get in the way. So I would be cutting those off anyway. All right, so here is what happens. If you extended the crotch, and the way I'm going to extend it, since I already just cut off this extra paper, is I'm going to draw a guideline from the inseam to the base of the curve here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slash that and spread it open, and then I can take advantage of these scraps of paper that I cut off. All right, so basically I'm going to create a hinge here, and then I'm going to cut straight through the slash like this so I can extend my crotch. Now, I've done that before, and I don't want to say that doing this will automatically give you the problem that I'm going to show you next, but it could. So let me just put some paper in here, and I'm just gonna tape it down. And here's the thing, I'm on my So Tights magnetic cutting surface here, so I can very easily hold my things all together while I'm taping. I don't have to worry about needing multiple hands here. So I'm just gonna tape that flat. All right, so you can see what happens is if you extend this, and then let me just true this up here. Okay, it may be that you do need a lot of width front to back, and what I'm going to do now that I have this situated is I'm just going to trim off all the extra paper because I want to lay it next to the front here. Okay, let me just trim this. All right, so I've got the extra paper trimmed away, but you can almost see it. What's happening is this is sticking out and then it's blending back to the original knee right here, and you can see that it's creating a little angle in here by the knee. And if I put this together with my front like this, you can see I have a wide open crotch depth now, front to back. And it could be that you do need that. But sometimes if you just extend the back and not the front, or if the front just has a really short crotch extension and you've extended the back, what happens is you end up with the hinge. And this angle right here, when you sew it together, forces this part of the inseam to kind of swing out like this. So if you're looking at your muslin and it looks like you're wearing sailor pants, or it just looks like the front is pulling inward or even a little bit forward, but everything else is fitting nicely, check this first to see if you have a huge wedge in the back. And the way you can kind of gauge how big it is, if you line up your ruler with the inseam from the knee down and just dash in where it's lining up there, you can see this is a significant amount of fabric hanging off of the pant leg. So the way you would fix this is very simple. You have two choices. If you're happy with what's going on at the top and you don't want to play with that, what you can do is you can actually put some paper below here and then fill it in. So instead of having it come in, have it come, maybe extend the knee out, let's say an inch or an inch and a half, and then fill that in and have it come straight down like this. Now see, what you've done is you've created a situation where now the wedge extends past the knee and it actually goes all the way to the hem. So the fabric that is wrapping around the inside of your leg isn't just up at the crotch and above the knee. Now you've got all of this to support this wedge shape, and it's not a hinge anymore. Okay, so that's the first thing you can do. Now, obviously, if you were happy with the width of your leg, you may end up needing to trim some off your side seam to keep the width of your leg the same, but you can try that. The other option is, if you don't want to do that, the other option is you can literally transfer some of the wedge from the back to the front, and then you would be also pushing back your inseam. So if it looks like your inseam is a little bit too close to the front, this is a good option. So basically what you would do is you would just decide how much you want to get rid of here. Let's say we want to get rid of this much. I'm just going to dash it in first. Then I'm going to cut it off. All right, and then literally I'm going to just mirror image it. No, I don't need to. And I'm just going to stick it over here onto the front. Now I might need to woodgie it a little bit, but I love these So Tight booster magnets because they're tiny and they're perfect for me to work with my pattern pieces. I'm in heaven with this thing. So see how easy that was for me to add that little wedge of paper with these booster magnets. I'm in love, 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 love. All right, so then I would kind of fine tune this over here. So here would be my new front crotch extension would come out like this. I'm just going to highlight it blue. And you can see it's not creating that angle down here at the base of the inseam because it's more of a gradual curve. And then you can see here you've got more of a gradual curve as well, and that should straighten out the bottom of your hem. and I just want to put it back together to show you, you're going to end up with virtually the same shape. It's just you've moved some of the crotch extension from the back to the front. So let's review. If you're happy with where your inseam is up at the top, I would fill in the bottom like I showed first. Okay, I would just fill it in there. So you don't mess with the position of the inseam at the top. But if you want to also push back your inseam a little bit, you can transfer some of the back crotch to the front like I showed in the second example. So this should take care of a hem that looks like sailor pants, or if it's just swinging forward and everything else is fine. This is a way to adjust your pants pattern without doing anything invasive to it that's going to cause another problem. So I just wanted to share this with you. And also, let's take a quick look at, here are my finished pants after I made that change. And you can see that the hem is nice and straight now. So I've already tested this on myself, so I know it works if that is the situation. So if you're looking at your hem and it's looking a little sailor boy-ish, maybe try this. Or not even sailor boy, but maybe even swinging in, or swinging in and a little forward even. So I hope that helps in your pants fitting adventure. Tomorrow during subscriber Q&A on Wednesday at 1 o'clock live, I'm going to be talking about adaptive sewing for people who are wheelchair bound or have posture issues or sore shoulders or any of these things. I'm going to talk about how you can make clothes that will fit a little better, but also be easier to take on and off. So that's what we'll be doing tomorrow during subscriber Q&A. And if you missed it, yesterday during Cool Tools, I shared another, it's a position gauge, the Plum Blossom Position Gauge. I shared that yesterday during Cool Tools, and I'm very excited about it because you can do inside curves. So think about finishing your armholes and necklines, and also outside curves for circles and things. So I played with it a little bit, and I did a demo to show how to finish an armhole, and I also showed how to sew around the outside edge of a circle. Very excited about it. Of course, my dad found it for me, so he's like super excited. So if you missed that, go check that out. I'll put a link to that in the description below. If you have any questions or comments about fixing the swing of your inseam, please post those below and I will help you. I hope you're enjoying these Fit Tip Tuesdays, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.